Hi friends, today we are going to see the past year NEET questions for the chapter Organisms and Populations, and today in this video we will cover part 2. Now let's begin with the first question, which was asked in the year 2003. In which one of the following is nitrogen not a constituent? Okay, now you have four options here: pepsin, idioblast, bacteriochlorophyll, invertase. Okay, now what is pepsin? We'll analyze one by one, that should be better. Okay, what is pepsin? It has some association with protein. Maybe I give you an example here. I gave you a clue. Pepsin is an endopeptidase that breaks down proteins into smaller compounds called amino acids. It is produced in the chief cells of the stomach lining and is one of the main digestive enzymes in the digestive system. Therefore, it requires nitrogen. Next, moving on to the idioblast. Right? What is this actually? An idioblast is an isolated plant cell. So what is it? It is an isolated plant cell. Okay, that differs from neighboring tissues. They have various functions such as storage of reserves, excretory materials, pigments and minerals. They could contain oil, latex, gum, resin, tannin or pigments, etc. Okay, next is bacteriochlorophyll that requires nitrogen. What is invertase? This is also an enzyme. Okay, invertase is also an enzyme. But this enzyme, if you talk, this is an enzyme that catalyzes the hydrolysis of sucrose into fructose and glucose. Alternate names that are given to the invertase includes saccharase, glucosaccharase, beta fructidose or beta fructosidase. So these are some of the alternate names given to this. Now almost I've given the clue. The right answer is option B, idioblast. Okay. Okay, now if you ask me in detail what is this idioblast, it's a raphides that are needle-shaped crystals of calcium carbonate or calcium oxalate found in specialized plant cells called as idioblast. They are believed that the raphides are the defense mechanism against plants' predators, as they are likely to tear the soft tissues of the throat or the esophagus of the plant predator, chewing them on the plant leaves. They are not nitrogenous substances. So actually, if you see here, the basic function of this is to protect the plant. The basic function is the protection, because as the animals start to ingest those plants, what happens is it will actually hurt the throat of the animal who is eating it. So what happens? It's a protection action from the plant, so that once it starts hurting the animal will obviously not continue eating the plant. So it's one way of defense mechanism that the idioblast does to the plant. And this is a non-nitrogenous compound. Therefore, the right answer to this question is option B. Okay, next question here. Which part of the world has high density of organisms? What is this? Which part of the world has high density of organisms? And this question was asked in the year 1999. Instead of saying which part, I said cause. It's not a problem. Okay, now the tropical rainforest. Yes, the answer is tropical rainforest. It occurs in the equatorial and the sub-equatorial regions. The forest, as I said, there is no dry season at all. A very unique thing about this forest. No dry season. Always you have humidity. At least you will have rainfall throughout the year, and at least to maximum about 60 millimeter every day. Due to the abundant plant growth, a large number of animals live in the tropical rainforest. In grasslands, fire occur periodically, which prevent the tree growth. Okay, so in grasslands you have fire occurring often. In savannas, periods of drought are common, and in deciduous forests they are found predominantly broad-leaved and they are hard-wooded. Okay, you have more woods rather than growth. Therefore, the right answer to this question is option D. Okay, next question here. Plants such as Rosopis, Acacia and Caparis represents the example of tropical dash. Okay, what these plants are actually? It is not deciduous, it is not evergreen. See, deciduous forests present in both northern and southern hemisphere contain a broad-leaved and hard wood. We just now saw it in the last question. Now, when you talk about the evergreen forest, you know how the trees or the plants live, how do they occur. But this, if you see, All what is mentioned here in the question, Rosopis, okay, all these are actually thorny plants. What are they? They are all thorny plants. Now I think you will know what the answer is. Plants such as Rospis, Acacia, and Caparis represents the examples of the tropical thorn forests. Therefore, the right answer to this question is option A. Now, the grasslands are the large plants that are covered by grasses. They are non-succulent, thorny, hot desert plants. So, what do they represent? They represent the tropical thorn forest. Okay, next question here. Which of the following communities is more vulnerable to the invasion by outside animals and plants? Okay, you just have to use your logic. Okay, which one of the following communities is more vulnerable to invasion? This is because the oceanic islands are normally cut off from their habitats. More vulnerability is seen in oceanic island communities. Why, if you see? Because these islands are normally cut off from their habitats. Therefore, the right answer to this question is option B. See, not much of explanation is needed because it is simple logic. Once they are cut off from their habitats, what happens? It becomes vulnerable to the invasion by outside animals and plants, which is obvious. Okay, next question here. Species occurring in different geographical areas are called as dash. Now you have to understand the terms that are given here. Two or more species which are reproductively isolated from each other, but they are morphologically similar, then you will call them as sibling. I think you will know what the sibling is. Sympatric species are developed due to the reproductive isolation. They occur in the overlapping or the same area of geographical distribution. So this is also not the answer. Neopatric. What do you mean by neopatric? How can you describe neopatric? The right answer is allopatric, but what you mean by neopatric? Okay, see, neopatric is actually it's a speciation which occurs when group within species separate from other members of its species and develops its own unique characteristics. Okay, so it's a separation that is seen within the species itself. So that is not the answer. So species occurring in different geographical areas are called as allopatric, which is option C. Parapatric species are developed in adjacent geographical areas meeting in a very narrow regions of overlap. So I've given you the explanation for each term. You should know what is this. Otherwise, you will not be able to choose the answer. Right? Next question here. Keystone species in the ecosystem are those. Okay. I actually explained you in the earlier part of the same chapter what is keystone. That is, the quantity or the presence of keystone is very little or very low, but still they have a dominance. That is, their requirement or their presence is highly needed, but it is present in low number. Okay, that is keystone species. Now, the keystone species in ecosystem are not present in maximum number. They are most frequent. That is also wrong. Attaining large biomass, that is also wrong, because I just now told you their quantity is very, very less, but their importance is very, very high. So the contributing to the ecosystem properties, that is one thing unique about these keystone species. Therefore, the right answer to this question is option D. Okay, next question here. The high boiling point of water is advantageous to the living organisms because dash. This question was asked in the year 1997. You need to analyze the statements. The environment seldom reaches the boiling point of water. Wrong. Organisms can easily boil off enough water to keep themselves cool. That is the right answer. It allows organisms to spread heat evenly throughout their bodies. No. Organisms can absorb great deal of heat before they reach the boiling point from the organism and population. See, organism can easily boil off enough water to keep themselves cool. Okay, so this is one of the reason why the organisms being homeostatic are said to be observed or said to have a constant body temperature. Therefore, the correct answer to this question is option B. Okay, next question here. Which of the following pairs is correctly matched? You have to analyze the statements. Eurycotylism is aquatic habitat, that is right. Parasitum is an intraspecific relationship, yes. Excessive perspiration is actually a xeric adaptation, that is also right. Stream, which of the following pairs is correctly matched? The first three one are matched. Streamlined body is for aquatic adaptation. Which of the following pairs is correctly matched? How many are matched correctly? What do you mean by eurycotylism? Do you think that is right? See, the correctly matched pair is actually option D, which is streamlined body, which is meant for aquatic adaptation. Parasitism is not intraspecific relationship, because parasitism is where one will be benefited and the other will be harmed. And this intraspecific relationship will occur in a place where you have the same species. There is possibility of fight to happen between them. Okay, eurycotylism is not aquatic habitat. Okay, and excessive perspiration is xeric adaptation, that is also wrong. The right answer is streamlined body, which is aquatic adaptation. Parasitism, interspecific relationship in which one specific, so it is not intra, it is interspecific. Okay, parasites live on or inside the body of the host. Okay, so I've given you a clear-cut example, but let's discuss what is this eurycotylism. Maybe that is a new term for you. You will have the urge, you'll have the curiosity to know what is it. Now, eurycotylic, it is designating those animals as reptiles or birds that excrete most of their waste nitrogen in the form of uric acid, usually in the form of urine. Okay, so eurycotylism is not seen in aquatic habitat, but rather seen in reptiles and birds. Okay, the uric acid, so maybe you can remember like this: the uric acid that is liberated from their body, which is the nitrogen waste which comes out of the body. Therefore, the right answer to this question is option D. Next question here: desert plants are generally dash. Okay, what do you think will be the answer here? I think you must guess the answer now, because we already discussed in the part 1. It's not viviparous, it's not herbaceous, and it is not heterophilous. They are succulent. They are xerophytes actually. They can preserve their water to as much as they can, because their stomata is condensed form, so that it prevents the water loss. Succulent plants are fresh xerophytes which can grow in low water level, and that is why they are called as desert plants. Okay, therefore the right answer to this question is option B. Next question here: xeric environment is characterized by dash. What do you mean by xeric environment? Maybe we need to discuss about that, because we just now discussed in a previous question xeric atmosphere, right? Now this atmosphere, okay, how do I tell, what do I tell about this xeric atmosphere and all that? Or you can say xeric environment. Okay, xeric environment. Now, this environment is characterized by low atmospheric humidity. Okay, is the environment of moisture deficient area. It is found in the desert. It is characterized by the less annual precipitation, low rate of vaporization, low atmospheric humidity. So you can resemble the low moisture content here. Okay, low moisture content. Everything will be low. Low vaporization, low atmospheric humidity, low temperature at night, and high temperature in the daytime, all that. So xeric environment is characterized by the low atmospheric humidity. Therefore, the right answer is option B. Next question here: animals that can tolerate a narrow range of salinity are dash. Okay, you have 4 options here: stenohaline, urohaline, anadromous, and catadromous. Okay, the right answer is stenohaline. Steno means narrow. Maybe you need to know this. Steno means narrow. Okay, now you can analyze. Haline means it is salt, that we know. A fish cannot handle a wide fluctuation in the salt content in water. Many freshwater fish tend to be stenohaline and die in the environment of high salinity, such as the ocean. Fish living in the coastal and tide pools are often uraline, which is tolerant to the changes in the salinity, as many species have a life cycle requiring tolerance for both fresh water as well as the saline rich water. So narrow means they cannot withstand high salt content, only to some extent. Therefore, the right option is option A, stenohaline. Okay. Next question here. Tropical rainforest in India occurs in dash. I think this is a very direct question and you must know the answer. It is in Kerala and Assam, the equatorial range. I mean the tropical range. The tropical forests are seen, which comes in India part is Kerala and Assam. It's highly productive terrestrial ecosystem. Okay, it's the tropical part of the Kerala and Assam. Next question here. Soil best suited for the plant growth is dash. Clay, sandy, gravel. It's obviously not clay and gravel. Okay, the answer is loam. Loam soil is best suited for the plant growth because it possesses good aeration, nutritive salts, good water retaining capacity. So if you ask me what will this loam be, if you see, it will also have clay, it will have sand, it will have small stones or gravels in it, but it's a combination of everything. Because when you take only clay, the water accumulation will be in high and therefore the plant will not be able to survive. But loam, if you see, it's a combination of everything and it is best suited for the plant growth. Okay, so this is how it is, the picture. Therefore the right answer is option B. Next question here. A fertile agricultural soil appears deep colored at the surface as compared to the soil 1 meter down. The reason of the color of the topsoil is because of dash. It's not because of the moisture. It is not because. So the answer is rich in organic matter. High organic matter darkens the color of the soil. The organic matter which is present in the soil is contributed by the death and decaying of the living organisms. So as you go down, you will not see that color because the plants or the animals or the living organisms that perish in the soil, the top layer will be more affected. Instead of getting penetrated into the soil, the top layer will be more affected, and that color change is because of the rich in organic matter. Therefore the right answer to this question is option B. Okay, so with this we complete the part 2 of organisms and population. Hope to meet you in the next part of this same chapter. Thank you.